Did you know the strongest evidence says anger is not irrational at all? It's designed to restore balance when something's gone wrong. A broken deal, an unfair insult, or public humiliation. Psychologists call it a survival signal, not a flaw. So why do most people treat it like a character defect? It's because nobody has taught them how to use it constructively. Stay with me, because in this video, you'll learn why anger shows up, the bodily signs to look out for, and a 6-step method to harness that energy so you can control anger before it controls you. But real quick, if you find this useful, give it a thumbs up and click subscribe. I'm releasing more practical lessons to help you improve your life. Now then, back to the video. So here's what I'll be covering. The real purpose of anger, the 7 triggers that light it up, a 6-step anger into action method I give to my own clients, an uncomfortable Dr. Milton Erickson story that shows how powerful anger can actually be, ethical ways to dissolve or redirect anger, what anger actually is. Anger's job is quite simple, to repel an invasion. That means somebody has crossed a personal boundary or wounded your self-esteem. Anger shows up to force you to act so balance can be restored. Physically, it's fast. Face hits, chest tightens, pulse rises, breathing changes, and adrenaline floods in. Mentally, you got a rush of certainty. Slower reasoning is bypassed, so you can move. That's useful when you need force or courage. It becomes dangerous when the short circuit becomes your default lens. So the useful question is not only how do I stop anger, it's how do I use this energy to restore balance without destroying things. 7 triggers where anger comes from. These are the most common contexts that spark anger, with quick examples to help you spot them. Contempt. You're treated like you don't matter. One example is someone jumps the queue and acts like you're invisible. Spite. Somebody blocks you from getting what you deserve, such as a colleague who sabotages your promotion. Insolence. Someone upgrades themselves by putting you down, like gossip or a public insult. Betrayal. A protector fails you, such as a doctor who misdiagnoses or a parent who abandons support. When someone with a duty of care fails you, the wound is deeper. Simple shock. Sudden unexpected harm, like an abrupt firing or a public roast. Indirect attacks. Your project, family, or values are belittled. This could be your team's work dismissed in front of potential clients. Public humiliation. You're shamed where it matters. This is where you hear laughter at your own expense in a room that you respect. So anger spikes when the assault feels personal. If you're singled out whilst others are treated well, the heat is higher. That tells you something about motive, and it helps you decide how to respond. What anger does, the gift and the risk. Gift. Anger gives strength. It can override fear and guilt, so you can challenge injustice, enforce a boundary, or push through a pain barrier. It's the push you sometimes need to do something important. Risk. Anger narrows thinking. It simplifies complex choices and can make retaliation feel righteous. Left unreleased, it hardens into resentment, passive aggression, or just chronic bitterness. Quick safety note. I wouldn't recommend using anger to motivate someone with very low self-esteem. It usually backfires. They often hear criticism as confirmation that they're unworthy, which deepens their feelings of unworthiness. And using anger as your long-term fuel may corrode physical health. The 6-step anger into action method. This is the exact template I give clients. Learn it, practice it, use it. Name it. For 30 seconds, say quietly to yourself, I'm feeling angry. Naming slows the alarm and creates a moment of space. Map the target and purpose. Ask yourself, what boundary was crossed? What needs fixing? Be specific. Choose one safe, concrete action to restore balance. Prefer a boundary, a complaint, or corrective step, not revenge. Convert the energy physically. 3 to 7 minutes. Brisk movement, breath work, shadow boxing, push-ups to move the adrenaline into clarity. Script one short sentence and rehearse it once. Example, when you interrupt me, I feel dismissed. Please let me finish. Act, then close the loop. After the action, repair, accept, or offer an apology, clarify expectations, or practice forgiveness so the anger doesn't fossilize. Remember, get the action, then end the anger. An uncomfortable proof, Milton Erickson and the Prussian patient. Here's a quick disclaimer. This is simply a demonstration, not a prescription. Milton Erickson was actually an American psychiatrist and psychologist specializing in medical hypnosis and family therapy. So Erickson once worked with a man who had a stroke and had become largely paralyzed. The patient was Prussian, known for being proud, honor-driven, someone for whom dignity had mattered. Erickson asked the wife not to interfere, then deliberately provoked the man. He insulted the man's strength, called him weak, a Nazi, incomplete as a man, and repeatedly kept insulting him. The man's face was flushed with rage. Finally, with a furious and such force, he pulls himself out of the chair, crossed the floor one painful step at a time, opened the door, and walked out. That burst of anger sparked real rehabilitation. He began to use his legs and limbs more than many expected. Obviously, Erickson's move relied on context, consent, and precise judgment, but please don't humiliate or abuse people simply to motivate them. The lesson here is that intense emotion can break total inertia. Just use that insight ethically, safely, and with a clear plan to release the anger afterwards. Short scripts you can use. Use I statements, name the behavior, and keep your requests clear. Say them calmly once. Meeting boundary. When you interrupt me, I feel dismissed. Please let me finish. Project risk. This delay puts my project at risk. I need it fixed by Friday, or I'll reassign it. Self-motivation. They said I couldn't do it. That's my fuel. I'll finish this to prove them wrong. Practice these lines once before you use them. That reduces the chance of a blow-up. How to close the loop. Dissolve the anger. When anger has done its job, end it. Pick one of these reliable, ethical exits. Reframe involuntary action. Show the act wasn't personal. If harm was accidental or due to ignorance, anger often drains. Repair apology. A sincere apology or a practical fix restores balance and removes the reason for anger. Forgiveness. Decide to let it go so it no longer controls you. Forgiveness isn't approval, it's freedom to move on. If anger achieved your goal deliberately, choose a release. If you don't, you'll carry the heat instead of the change. Redirecting anger. Patterns and a real-life example. When anger is intense, people look for outlets. Two common patterns: scapegoating, venting as a substitute target. It may relieve pressure, but often repeats them. If you must vent, aim at systems or abstractions, not people. Through the other person's suffering. When the object of anger suffers, the anger can subside because the moral picture shifts. Here's a real-life example. Before the 2008 Olympics, there was broad international anger at China over human rights issues. Then a massive earthquake killed thousands. That tragedy reframed the moral picture, and much public outrage and condemnation cooled down almost overnight. This shows how context can change emotional energy. Not that suffering is desirable, but that event can shift the need for anger. But here's an ethical caveat. Never create or exploit suffering, and never manufacture scapegoats. Warnings and essential rules. Don't provoke people with fragile self-esteem. It usually makes things worse. Don't weaponize anger to humiliate, control, or dominate others. That's abuse. Don't rely on anger as your primary motivator, it corrodes relationships and health. If anger is chronic, destructive, or feels out of control, please seek professional help. If your aim isn't repair, protection, or legitimate change, stop and rethink. A simple experiment to try this week. Try this for 7 days and note the change. Name it for 30 seconds. I'm feeling angry. Move for 5 minutes to shift the adrenaline. Write one clear sentence describing the single safe action you'll take. Then do that action within 24 hours. Notice whether your anger becomes shorter, sharper, and more useful. Here's my final invitation. If you want something more hands-on in the form of one-to-one help, my 4-session hypnotherapy phone program is designed to help you stop anger in its tracks. Across 4 tele-sessions, we map out your triggers, use targeted hypnotic reframes to reduce the automatic surge, install calm anchors you can use in the moment, then build a short relapse prevention plan so the changes stick. I'm currently offering 20% off with the program. All booking details are in the video description and in my channel bio. This is Auciello. Thank you for watching.